Hi, I'm an artist, and today I want to introduce you to a type study that is quick, effective, and maybe fun, and it's 10-minute study. So first, what is it? As the name suggests, you try to do a study under 10 minutes, but a big but, it doesn't need to be strictly 10 minutes. And I know even though I call it 10-minute study, but it's not like a hard limit, but rather a soft limit that allows you to expand on your study in the case that you want to. So a lot of the time when I do this, I tend to go over time, like quite a lot. But I try my best not to go near the 20 minutes mark. So technically, it's still 10 minutes study. Yeah, it's not clickbait, trust me. Anyway, next, let's talk reasons. So why should you do this? What kind of benefits can you expect from this kind of study? So the first one, and also a personal one, is that it can help you paint more loosely. And well, it is personal because I realized I have been a little bit too clean with my paintings recently. Like being a little bit too precise with my shapes and also brushstrokes. And while there's nothing wrong with clean brushstrokes and precise shapes, like we do need a certain degree of cleanliness and preciseness, but I felt like recently I have been leaning a little bit too heavy into that side. And I think I am kind of lacking some of the randomness, like some of the free spirit, that kind of thing. Like for me, perfect is a combination of preciseness and also randomness. So I don't really want to lean too heavy into either side of the bar. And I like to maintain a good balance for a maximum perfection score in my book. Yeah. So right now, I am currently more on the clean side of the bar. So to take me back on the other side, something like 10-minute studies is the perfect choice. Simply because with the time limit being this short, it's just almost like impossible to stay clean and precise. Like I am kind of forced to be really quick and therefore being really loose with my brushstrokes. And as you can see on the screen right now, it works like beautifully, some of them, not all of them. But that's just how loose and random brushstrokes are. Like you like some of them and you hate some. Yeah. Anyway, that's the first reason. And the second one being that this is a pretty quick way to improve your skill. Because painting something under a time limit like this really requires you to distill your art skills down into the most essential ones. Like for example, with the art process I usually do, which is sketch, and then color pick, block shapes, and finally render. And you can find out more about them in these videos, by the way. So when applying this process into the 10 minutes time frame, I just skip the sketching step and kind of smooth the color picking and the blocking into one step and then go straight into rendering. So now I know what to do when I have to paint something in the time crunch. And don't get me wrong, I still think my art process is pretty solid. Like it will still help a lot to paint things out properly with a sketch and also a color palette, especially when doing bigger pieces. So normally I will more than likely just stick to my usual art process, but when time goes, I know what to do to save time, which is weirdly poetic when you think about it. But anyway, this skills is something really valuable in my opinion. Next, the third reason. This is a quick and low commitment way to experiment with some new brushes. And this is mainly because I recently have been wanting to try out more brushes and also have been downloading quite a few of them. So trying them all can be quite a challenge. Because giving them a few brushstrokes wouldn't really give them a fair chance to display their full potential, which also maybe because I don't really have that much experience with a lot of different brushes, so I don't really have the knowledge to predict how to use them with just a few brushstrokes. So in a way, a skill issue. But using them for a full study, like the one that takes at least 1 hour, will be a little bit too much because they are just, a lot of them. So the best solution for this is doing something in the middle, and that is you know what it is, 10-minute study. Yeah, so for example, recently I downloaded this contaminated brush pack. Yeah, and by doing some studies with them, I found out that why I wouldn't really enjoy these brushes for detailed rendering. I think they would be wonderful for adding some weird colors and texture before the actual render. So I will keep that in mind for future paintings and projects. And finally, the last reason, which is some simple, easy short contents, which I know is not like really relevant for everyone here today, but it does matter a lot for me because I do need a consistent stream of contents for my channel, at least on the short size. And this makes the perfect sense because from a creator's point of view, this doesn't really take that long. Like even if I make something that I don't really like, I can just restart because again 10 minutes really aren't that long. And if you really want to, like really determined to, you can even post these daily. But well, you know, there's no need for that kind of commitment. Just do this whenever you feel like to. Anyway, from the viewer's point of view, this kind of content also kinda engaging as well because it's just 10 minutes. So let's see what kind of result would turn out to be. You know, that kind of feeling. At least I hope this kind of video would evoke that kind of feeling in the viewer. But of course, you know, it's not like 100% guarantee that it will get a lot of view and engagement because there's just no way to guarantee that. But well, it doesn't take that much to make, so you know, it's still good content in that sense. Anyway, now hopefully I did successfully convert you over to this site. Let's talk about how you can do this. In Krita, it is easy because you can download the timer Docker from the internet, and I will leave the link to that down below. And if you don't know how to install it, I will also leave the link to the guide in the description box. Check that out if you need to. Anyway, in Krita you can set the stopwatch to be 10 minutes over here, and remember to check this circle thingy to turn the alarm on, and then you can just start the timer and you can do your 10 minutes study right away. Good luck. And for anybody who doesn't use Krita, I am sure that you have a clock app on either your computer or your phone, or at least Windows and Android have them. iOS should as well. That's what I hope. Anyway, use those. They are fine. Yeah. And finally, here's some tips to get better at this faster, because I have been doing this for quite a while, so I have learned a few things here and there. So for the first one, we will start from even before actually we paint, which is choosing your study subjects. And you can pretty much study anything you want, but for the biggest chance of success, try to choose something simple, like just a piece of bread, a few fruits, or a cloud scenes, that kind of things. Second, using a small canvas because it takes longer to fill a large one. Like, we only have 10 minutes here, you know. Personally, I use a 1024 by 1024 canvas, and I think this is a pretty good size. Like, I have been doing all my studies on this canvas, and I think it is reasonable, like small enough to quickly fill things up and still large enough for some details and stuff. And the third tip is spending a good amount of time observing the reference beforehand. This is not like an actual test that you are not allowed to look at the subject beforehand, you know. Like, we don't do that here. I hate those kind of tests. Anyway, it's just some studies, so just take a good look at the colors, the shapes beforehand, and maybe even try to imagine what kind of brush strokes, what kind of hand gestures you would do. It may help, surprisingly. Next, try not to change brushes too much, and ideally just use one brush for the whole thing. And this is just to save as much time as possible. And of course, you could change brushes if you want. Sometimes I do switch them halfway because the brush I wanted to use turned out to be not the brush I actually wanted to use. Yeah, sometimes things like that happens. There's just no way around it, so just try not to do it too much. And building on the saving time point, try not to use too many layers. And of course, I still put different things on different layers, like background, foreground, and that kind of stuff, but not too many of them, because you can kinda forget. You put what on which layer, and trying to navigate them on a time limit can make you panic really easy. So try to keep the layer count to a minimum. And of course, we cannot talk about saving time without talking about shortcuts. Like please use your shortcuts, and also rearrange them to a more convenient placement if needed. Whatever. So the shortcut I use the most for this challenge is adding a new layer, which in Krita it was originally on the insert key, but that is way too far from my left hand, so I changed it to this key, which I still don't know how to pronounce till this day. And by the way, you can find out more about Krita shortcuts in this video. A warning, because the voice may sound quite different, but the content still good and relevant. Like, I swear, they would. Next, try your best to make some cleanish shapes. And I know I am sounding like a hypocrite because I talked about how I wanted to paint loose before, but in 10 minutes, even the cleanest shape of the mold will still look messy and loose. So try your best to have clean shapes. It will help people realize what you are painting a lot faster and easier. And final tip, not like an actual tip, but more like an inspirational speech. You will panic a lot when you first start to do this kind of study, because that time limit is really no joke. It will put a lot of stress on your brain. Well, at least that was happened in my case. But anyway, that panic, that stress is totally normal. So the first few studies will highly be not very good. So please don't be discouraged by them. Just do more and more and more, and things will be fine and a lot calmer down the way. I swear. And now I only panic when things didn't look too good. So that is an improvement. Try your best. You can do it. Anyway, I think that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about. Now let's look at some of my favorite studies, shall we? So that's the 10-minute study, something I do a lot lately. Please give them a try if you want to. And anyway, if you enjoy what we do here on the channel, considering become a YouTube member or a monthly member on Ko-fi, we have pretty cute wallpaper here like this. And thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a great day/night ahead, and see you later.